Okay, we're on. Welcome to Weekly Wise today. It is my pleasure to be the MC tonight and welcome you here. To give you a sense, to welcome you, those of you who have not heard or been to Weekly Wise before, we started this mainly with one original question in mind, kind of spurred this. That was, what do we do with all this ice cream? We, if you don't know, we hosted a while back an event called Ben & Jerry's Free Cone Day. Well, Ben & Jerry's hosted it, really. They do it worldwide every year. However, there's no Ben & Jerry's left in Utah, and you could say I'm a bit of a fan of Ben & Jerry's. And so we chose to buy the ice cream ourselves and give it out for free Cone Day. We had a lot of fun. And we've actually done that for 3 years now. And this time we had a lot of people saying they were coming. So we bought a lot of ice cream, and not as many showed up as said they were going to come, and we had some bad weather, so we have a lot of leftover ice cream. So we were saying, okay, what are we going to do with all this? And we have a business. We wanted to figure out how can we integrate it with our business and make this a mutually beneficial situation. But we also didn't want to just do something where, we said, okay, here's our business, and here's some ice cream, the same thing over and over and over again. We wanted to add some more value than that, do something more fun. So what we came up with, really, I think I just ought to give the credit to my wife and my brother-in-law and his wife. As they were standing around talking, they kind of formulated the idea of these Weekly Whys, a lecture series where we invite different people to come and share on something that they believe in, that they're passionate about. They want to tell the world and share with us their why. So we call it Weekly Whys, and we're going with that. And we have, of course, Ben & Jerry's ice cream after. To those online, you're welcome to come. I can't get you the ice cream through the computer, I'm afraid. I will let you know if we figure that technology out. So with that, I have the distinct pleasure of welcoming and introducing my wife, and Bonnie Parks. And I feel a little bit like, how do you introduce your spouse? It's a little overwhelming when you know someone that well. How do you introduce them and not take the rest of the evening just introducing them about all the great things you know and love about them? One does not simply introduce their spouse, so to speak. But so I will make an attempt. Bonnie, besides all the gushy stuff of me loving her and thinking she's cute and all that, which is true, she is a person who loves to learn, loves knowledge, loves to study, and devotes herself to that. She reads, I would say ferociously is an appropriate term, and she wants to apply what she learns, and she's constantly investigating, how can I make my life better? How can I make my life easier? How can I make things work better? And she wants to learn, and she has a thirst for that. And because of that, she has an excellent way of explaining things, of sharing the insights that she's gained. And I've admittedly had a sneak peek of tonight as she's been practicing, and I'm excited for me to hear it again. I know that I'll get more out of it, and I'm excited for you that are listening. So thank you so much for being here, and Bonnie, come on up. I am going to give you a hug. You want to?
Thank you. Would you help pick up that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I wrote up here, the title of tonight's lecture is Rainbows and Swamps. And then I gave it a subtitle. This is what I wish that it could be called, but it didn't quite fit. But if I could name it and make it tie in, it would be called Having the Life You Want by Wanting the Life You Have. I think that that's one of the real keys to being content with your life, is being content with your life by choosing into the life that you already have. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that, and a lot about rainbows and swamps, and a little bit about some other stuff. To begin with, I want to tell you a few things that I believe. I'm going to block this, but I don't think you online can read it anyway, so I can move around it, but we'll be using this in a little bit. So one of the things that I believe is that in every person, from before they were born, there are seeds of great things that they will do, character traits that they will have, talents, skills, gifts, things that are important for them, things that are given to them so that they can do important and unique, special things on Earth. And those seeds are already in people before they're born, before they have developed the talents, before they even realize that those are talents they have, before they understand what they're even doing on Earth. It's already a part of them. And I believe in the eternity of man, that man goes on, it goes long before birth and forever after death, and goes on and on and on. And so all those seeds of greatness are with them throughout their life. Now we're going to take a little shift, but we'll be revisiting that theme. I want to tell you a little story, draw you a little picture. So here we have a person. I'm going to tell you for those online what I'm drawing in case you can't tell. Let's see. So here's a person. Then we have a path. And we have another person. So in this story, this is actually the same person. This is the person now. This is the person in the future at the end of whatever path it is they're going to take. You may, if you would like to make this story more meaningful, think of something in your life that's not exactly the way you would want it. If your life is absolutely perfect, you may just want to hit stop and go because there's not going to be anything for you. If it's not, think of something that's not quite how you want it. And that's what we'll use in the analogy. We're not actually going to say them out loud this time, though. I have my kids here, and they got a little sneak peek, too, and so they know some of your answers. And we'll have you share them out, but just not this part right now. So, in this story, this person right here, right now, at the beginning of the story, cannot see the end of the path. They cannot see where the path is going to go exactly. They can't see where they will end up. They especially don't know what it looks like over there. So my question for all of you, this is the one you can answer. My question is, how could they think about this end of the path? What are some of the thoughts or words that they might have to describe that? Or are there feelings they have about this end of the path?
Achievement, like fulfillment.
Okay. Again, as they're standing here, what are they thinking or feeling about this future life?
It would be awesome.
It'd be awesome. We're assuming it's a good path that takes you where you want to go. I know there's lots of paths in life. This one's the path that's going to be helpful. What else? I wish I had a way to have you online participate. We haven't gotten that far yet.
I'm working on getting onto the Facebook event. So if you have something online, I'm working on getting onto the Facebook event, and you can comment there, and I'll do my best.
Okay. Does this seem like a pretty cool place? Are we thinking good things about this?
Yep.
What about the fact that we can't see it yet? What do we maybe think about that?
It's too long.
It's too long. That makes a lot of sense. We can't see where we're going. It's too long. What do you think, Noelle?
I want to stop having to go home because I'm ready to do it.
Good point. If you didn't hear Noelle, I want to stop having a bump on my foot because whenever I touch it, it hurts. I'm just going to write it hurts. It hurts.
I have 2 hours and I
Yeah, thanks for telling me about that. What else are we going to think about this? Or feel? Let's talk about feelings. What are we going to feel about this future place? So we feel owie about it? I'm gonna throw out a few words. We could feel afraid. We might feel unsure if we don't know where it is, what it's going to look like. We might be unsure or uncertain.
I'm frustrated if you don't know how to get there.
Yeah, frustrated because we don't know how to get there.
Is there an end?
Is there an end? Good question. Noah.
I'll never get there.
I'll never get there.
Boy, wouldn't that be nice.
Oh, boy, wouldn't that be nice? What's behind that kind of thought? Boy, wouldn't that be nice?
Kind of like a disbelief that it could ever happen.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Eliza.
How do I get out of here? Can I please?
There we go. How do I get out of there?
How do I get there? Where you want to go?
We have a comment from online. I think not seeing the end can be frustrating, but also adventurous. Wouldn't knowing the end take the grandeur of arrival?
So it would be frustrating but adventurous to not know the end, and it would take out the fun. Is that the word?
The grandeur.
The grandeur. So I'm gonna write grandeur and fun and adventurous. I like that. Thank you, online. Okay, there's a few more kind of things I want us to think about. What about, oh, thank you. What about if we don't know how we're going to get there, and we don't know if we're going to have enough time, or if we're gonna have enough energy, or if we're gonna have enough resources, if we're gonna run out of food or water? What kind of feelings might that bring?
Nervous?
Nervous?
Scared.
Scared?
Exhausting.
Yeah, exhausting.
Boring.
Boring!
Those are like hands.
I can't, I'm writing that down. Yeah, I was also thinking scarcity. There's a scarcity of the things that we need, and that's why we can't get there.
Someone could come and help.
Someone could come and help. There we go. So help will come.
I really want to get out of here.
Yeah, I really want to get out of here. That could be kind of a frustrating part, or it could be a really helpful way to be thinking. I really want to get out here. Yes, Noelle?
So.
It's so what? It's so fun going shopping. Not exactly sure where that goes. I'm gonna write it anyway.
Another comment from online.
Yeah.
That would bring fear and trepidation.
Yeah. Is that Ruth again? Thank you, Ruth. We've never had interaction from the online audience. This is fun. What if you, instead of this, some of this stuff, what if you knew that you had enough food, enough resources, enough water, enough energy and strength? What kind of feelings would that give you? Yeah, security.
Happy.
Confidence.
Yeah. Peace, security, happy, confidence. I love that. I'm gonna just add a couple of myself. Faith, abundance.
Maybe it's not so long.
Maybe it's not so long, so it'll get you
Optimism.
thinking great things. Not so long and optimism. Okay, I think we have a great list here. Now I want to ask, What's the difference was kind of a silly question. We get what's the difference. What would be different for our experience when we're thinking these kinds of thoughts versus these kinds of thoughts? Is it even quantifiable, explainable? It makes all the difference.
You either have hope or you're completely discouraged. I mean, the two extremes of it. If you're completely in one camp or completely in the other camp, like often we're probably in the mix, or sometimes we're in one, sometimes we're in another. We oscillate. But
Oscillate.
yeah, whatever that word is. Thanks. And yeah, it's just hope versus discouragement are the two things that come to my mind.
Yeah, great.
One has
So-
to be true.
What?
One side has to be true.
One side has to be true? Can they both be true?
Yes.
They both could be true. So my question then, Amy, is who is in charge of this? Who is in charge of which one's true?
The person who having to go on the path.
The person going on the path? What do you think?
So,
Yourself. Can you just choose one of these?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Ruth says, I think your attitude would change the outcome.
Oh my goodness, I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna write it right on the path. Attitude changes outcome. Okay, so this is all about the future. Now let's go, we're walking down the path just a little bit and we get to this area. So now we're right here. We're no longer here. And we look down, we've been going on the path for a little while, and we look down and we find out we're standing in a swamp. What do we think the moment we realize we're in a swamp? Ew. Ew. I'm not sure how to spell that.
EW?
Ew. What? This is disgusting.
I think,
I don't know how to spell it either.
UGH.
UGH. Ugh.
What have I got myself into?
What have I gotten myself into? Noelle. Sticky. Anything else?
There's mud in my shoe.
There's mud in my shoe.
I hate with mud in my bed.
I hate this. Yeah. Is there anything else that I might use a green marker to write that we could think about being in the swamp?
If you scoop it up, my hands will get sticky.
Yeah.
But if my hands but I'll get out.
I'll get out. I like that. I'll get out. Yeah.
But
So Ruth says, oh no, there are snakes in swamps.
Snakes in swamps. That's true. I might get bitten. Anything else? Noelle.
too scary.
Too scary. Okay.
Too muddy. Mud's fun.
Mud's fun. There you go.
It is.
Mud makes cool noise.
Mud is fun. Makes cool noise.
Snakes make loud noise.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, recognizing it as part of the adventure.
Part of the adventure.
It's hard to in the moment, but if you get to a place where you see that the learning experience or what not to do.
Yeah.
What do I have to do to get out?
Yeah.
I gotta walk down the path.
What?
I might need to drink this to survive.
That's pretty gross, baby. What do I have to do to get out? I'm gonna give a suggestion to move us right along about another idea that we could say when we're in the swamp. I think we could walk along, we could get in the swamp, we look down and say, oh my goodness, I'm in a swamp. And then we could go a little step further and say, yep, I'm in a swamp. I accept that I'm in a swamp.
I'm walking at least.
That's gonna be a rainbow kind of thought. We'll get there. Noelle, one more.
I love my nose just stay in the swamp.
You'll just stay in the swamp?
No, I love my nose just stay in the
I love mud, I'll just stay in the swamp. That's one thing you could think. The thing I'm suggesting that we could learn to think.
Mom,
That's all for this part, okay? You can tell me more after.
one.
Okay, one more.
How can I get them forward? If I walk, I will. If I have to get one side of, I can walk with bare feet and pick them up, walk and walk down again.
I think that this lecture may appeal to children more as we have a picture and some stories. This is really cool that it's drawing out that aspect. I'm glad. So what I'm suggesting is that whatever our swamp is, that we even say out loud, this is a practice I've been developing myself. I accept the reality that I'm in this swamp. I don't say, I love swamps, I'm gonna stay here forever. I don't say, I'm never getting out of this swamp, or okay, fine, I'll just stay here. None of that. I say, I accept the reality that I'm in this swamp. I even go so far as to say, I accept that I made choices that led me straight into the swamp.
If I see a white, no walking it.
There's one more aspect of this picture I wanted to discuss, and then we'll apply it even more. So as you're standing in the swamp, you look up and you see in the sky
Rainbow.
a rainbow. What do you think about the rainbow? I'm probably not going to write it down in the interest of time, but what are a couple things you think about the rainbow?
Cool, look, so many colors.
Cool, look, so many colors.
The blue, purple. I love it. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, I love it. There's blue and purple. Does anyone have anything bad to think about a rainbow?
And
Maybe, but I've never heard anyone say, oh, it's a rainbow. I've never heard that.
well, it is. That means it rains. And that's kind of boring.
I love it when it rains.
Well, I love it when it rains, but then it's cold.
So I'm going to go to the explanation part and bring this all together. My next question is, what on this path and destination, what can we control? Can we control the location of the destination?
Yes.
Think to yourself, what do you think?
Yeah.
Can we control where we're going?
Yeah.
Can we control whether or not we walk on the path?
Yeah.
Can we control which path we take?
Yes.
Can we control whether or not we get in the swamp?
Yeah. No, kind of.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, to a degree. Can we control whether or not we get out of the swamp?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Can we control what way we're looking?
Yeah.
Will that influence whether or not we can see the rainbows? I am suggesting 3 action steps with this analogy. Before I tell you them, though, I want to tell you, when this analogy came to me, it was because I was talking with Matt, and he had a situation just like this, and he said to me, but I don't know what that would look like. He was talking about a destination that he wanted. He couldn't even picture what it would look like, and because of that, he felt unsure, afraid, not even sure if there was a destination, not even sure if it could exist, I think, because he didn't know what it looked like. Yeah.
Sorry. Ruth says, you control your own attitudes while you are traveling.
Yeah, for sure. I told Matt that day, what I'm going to tell you is that I believe that whether you're looking at the situation this way or this way makes all the difference. You can look at the future, the goals you want, the life you envision. This way, happy, faith-filled, abundant. You can look at it this way, fear, unsure, not knowing what it looks like. And that, in fact, will determine where you're going to go. Just the way we're looking at it, what we're trying to create, or what we're unconsciously creating is going to make all the difference, both in where we're going and our enjoyment of going there. What about in our current reality? So that's the future. What about in the present? What difference would it make? Which way we're thinking? If we accept the reality or if we argue with it. You think accept, that's because you've heard me talk before. Until recently, I had a big habit of arguing with reality, of getting frustrated with reality, saying, I hate how this is happening. I think I should be better than I am right now. Why am I in this swamp again? Until I made a switch. That's still in the process of happening. But I'm learning to say out loud, I accept the reality of this situation, and it is making all the difference in my ability to get out. So there's three things. One is looking to the future and creating the future we want with the way of being that we want. Another is looking at the present, and in the present, I suggest two things. Accepting the reality of the things we don't like, and at the exact same time, looking for the rainbows, what's going great, even about that situation we don't like. So I'm going to give each of you an invitation. This is something I was doing just before you all came. To do a little homework. So there's 5 steps in the homework. Number 1, think of a situation that's not exactly how you want it. A specific situation. If you're gonna pick, well, I don't really like how my money is, get a little more specific. What's one thing that you don't like? I don't like my out of control spending. Or if it's a relationship, you don't just say, I'm struggling with this person. What is it about this one situation? Just to pinpoint one, I think it'll make clarity more likely. So number 2, what would the ideal look like? Obviously, this isn't what you have because you're frustrated with this situation. What would the ideal look like? This invitation is to do this in writing. What would the ideal look like? Get in detail. Have no limitations on yourself. If you could have anything you want in this situation, what would it be? Write it all out. As you're writing, feel those feelings of abundance and faith and hope and trust and certainty that those things will be coming. Number 3, I have to look at my paper because I don't remember what number. Oh, my paper's not right now. Number 3. Oh, number 3. I remember. Sorry. Accept the reality of the current situation. I suggest, and this is based on some learning. I've heard some people talking about accepting reality, mostly experiential learning for me. I suggest saying out loud, I accept the reality of this situation. As I'm learning to truly accept the reality, it is teaching me what is my responsibility and what is not my responsibility. What's my business and what's somebody else's business and their job to take care of. And I'm learning that other people's business is their business and that I don't have anything to do with it. I mean, I can influence it, but I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to argue with it. I don't have to say they should do this or I'm judging them for this. I'm accepting the reality of them doing it. So you say out loud, I accept the reality, and then talk about the situation, what you don't like about it, but what you now are choosing to accept about it. Then number 4 is look for, as my friend Kevin Clayson says, look for what's awesome in this situation. So this is where the rainbow comes in. Look for what's awesome. And then number 5 is revisit over and over the ideal. the vision of what you want. Revisit. So let's just talk about those again one more time. First of all, you identify the situation. The what?
Situation.
Number two, you identify and explain and write out to yourself what the ideal would look like. What?
The ideal would look like.
Number three, you say out loud, I.
Accept the reality of this situation.
Number four, you look for what's
Awesome.
awesome. And then number five, you revisit it over and over and over. One of the tools that Ryan is going to share in a few minutes is one way that I revisit over and over and over what the ideal would look like in many different areas of my life. I just want to state one more time that doing this will help create the situation that you want. It will help you create and achieve the ideal that you're wanting in that area. It will draw the resources and the people to you, and it will just help you stay focused and get what you want. The other cool thing that this will do is help you stay happy in the journey. You don't have to wait till you get to the ideal to be happy. You'll be happy all along the way if you're accepting the reality and moving across. A lot of people talk about positive thinking. I think that positive thinking is fantastic, looking for what's awesome. The thing that I don't think is fantastic is a habit that I've had in the past where I say, but my life's so good. I have so much to be grateful for. And then using that as a way to bury down what I didn't like and keep myself in the swamp. Say, it's okay to be in the swamp because look, there's a rainbow. When really, I could stay looking at the rainbow and get myself out of the swamp. Or being on the other side, instead of saying it's okay to be in the swamp, say, oh, I'm not in the swamp. No, I'm doing fine. And not admit to ourselves. Or, I hate being in a swamp. My life's so stinky, it's always a swamp. And then you stay in the swamp because all you're thinking is swamp, 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 swamp. And you stay stuck in the swamp. I find so much power in, I accept the reality that I'm in the swamp. And just that acceptance gives me the motivation, the power, and the clarity to know how to step out. I've had so many more answers, so much more clarity coming to me, and quicker and easier than I have before since I've been accepting reality. I notice swamps, and I think, oh, I don't just stay in here. I'll just take a step out of the swamp, and away I go. I still have lots of swamps that I keep finding myself in, but I'm getting better at finding and getting them out. Really quickly, we're almost done, but I just want to talk about some of our language. I think that the way we talk makes a huge difference on which way we're looking at the future and which way we're looking at the present. I didn't talk about the past today at all, but those two things. So there are some things that we say that are swamp talk and some things that we say that are rainbow talk. I specifically want to look for what are some words and phrases that we use frequently that keep us in the swamp. I can't, totally. This swamp list we're creating right now has become forbidden at our house. These are swear words. I can't is no longer allowed.
I'm not something enough.
I'm not something enough. If that isn't arguing with reality, I don't know what is. Enough for what? Who even made that up? We're not in any competition. I'm not good enough. Doesn't even make sense. But we all think it. I'm not something enough. What, Eliza? How can I ever get out of here? That could probably be said two ways. You could say, how can I ever get out of here, in a way that means I'm not getting out of here. Or you could say, oh, how can I get out of here? And look for the way. I think it can be both.
It's not worth it.
Not worth it. I can't see it, so why try?
Not. If I just get out this one over.
Oh, wow, that's so profound. If I get out of this swamp, I'll just run into another. Wow. By the way, is that true?
Yes.
Will we get into another swamp?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe. And then we can accept the reality of that swamp too. Right.
Ruth says this is someone else's fault.
Yes, Ruth, that is powerful. I'll just get in another someone else's fault. It's like, if you're gonna say this is someone else's fault, you might as well just take your water, your resources, really your power, and just dump it in the swamp. You don't have any power to do anything. It's someone else's fault, so I'm stuck.
I think another one is, well, I guess I deserve to be here.
Ugh.
Oh.
Can you just feel how yucky this all feels to talk this way? Yes.
I'll stand here. Except
You'll accept the no answer of being in the swamp. That's good to accept the no answer, but then you still want to get yourself out. I think I'd rather disagree appropriately with the no answer. How about this one? I need, should, ought to either do something or be better at whatever it is. How do we feel when we say these things?
my swamp. On my swamp.
Yeah. I can't be in the swamp. It's not okay. I have to get out of this swamp. I need to do something that gets me out of the swamp. I can't be here. Is that going to get us out, or is it going to keep us in? Or is it going to, even more important, is it going to help us be happy? Whether we get out or not isn't actually even the most relevant thing, in my opinion. That's how we're
If I
feeling.
can do something would make me be able to do it, but then it's not working. It's never going to work.
Never going to work.
I'll deal with it later.
Oh, yeah. Deal with it later.
I hope later becomes never.
Wow, hope later becomes never. Procrastinate forever.
Now I bet.
I want to add one that we've recently put on the taboo list at our house. From last week's Weekly Wise, by the way. If you missed that one, it was so fantastic. We've been thinking about putting it on the taboo list, but that brought it to my attention more. I don't know. In fact, I've heard Stephen talk about not saying I don't know. So I know that's something you guys have talked about too. Okay, real quick, I'm not gonna write them down, but we better say some rainbow language because I can't end my talk in that interview. That's gonna be, we're all gonna leave it like, we're in the swamp. So what's some rainbow language?
I think accepting it is part of the rainbow language that you're saying, oh, well, here I am.
Yep, here I am. We can turn all of these around. I can't because I can. I'm not good enough because there is no enough. That's not even a thing. That's my opinion. It's not, I am good enough. To me, it's, there's no scale that I'm rating myself on. How can I ever get out? Turns to, I can get out.
My present level of ability and knowledge is good.
My present level of knowledge and ability is good. That's a good one for I don't know.
And always getting better.
Always getting better. I love it. I'm not worth it becomes I am worth it. I'll just get in another swamp. Well, we said we might get in another swamp, we might not, but that doesn't seem very relevant to us getting out of the current swamp. It's someone else's fault. I'll take responsibility for what's mine. Or I won't take responsibility for that part that isn't mine. Not because I don't want to help, not because I'm not compassionate and caring about what the other person's going through, but because it's not going to do anything for me to try and take a responsibility that's not mine. I'm not saying we don't help, we don't give service. I'm just saying we can't change someone else, we can't. There's a lot of things that are not ours to do. Let's see, I need, should, ought to, or I need to be better at. I like to say I can do those things, or I get to choose, or if I do these things, these are the results I'll have. and then see if I want to choose it or not. It's never going to work. It is going to work. I'll deal with it later. I'll deal with it now. I like the energy of those words. So to conclude, I just want to remind us of where we began, that there's seeds. Oh, yes, Ruth.
When I get out of this one, I'll know better how to get through the next one.
Love that. I love it. That was a lot like something you said too, Dan. I don't remember now what, but something like that. So back to how there's seeds of greatness in us. When I was telling Matt, when we originally had this scenario come up, one of the things that really felt true to me to tell him was that because man is eternal, anything great in our future has a part of us now. I said that before. Now I want to say it in the context of what we've been talking about. If we're going to someday be amazing, compassionate, kind, wonderful people, if we're going to be generous, if we're going to be wealthy, if we're going to be skinny, if whatever, there's a part of us right now that already has that. We're already kind sometimes. We're already choosing healthy habits sometimes. We already do parts of all those things. We already are all of those ways, those character traits. We already have those talents in us to some degree. We obviously want to develop them more, and that's what we're talking about. But it's already who we are. So when we write the ideal and what it looks like, we get to say it as if it's already true, because it is already true. I especially personally think of this in terms of attributes and traits. What our character is becoming. It totally applies to some other results, some material goods and success in however you want to define it. I most identify it with traits for me, about who I'm becoming, because to me, that's what the path is really all about, is who we are becoming. So all of those things we want to be, we are now. So you can declare it now. One of the things I really, really want to be is kind. And so I can just say, I am kind. And it's true, sometimes I'm kind and sometimes I'm not kind. But the truth about me and the eternal person that is me is that because I chose it, I am kind. We can all choose just like that, who and what we are going to be and what our results are, and declare it now. So remember your invitation, your situation, what the ideal would look like, accept reality, look for what's awesome, then revisit it. My invitation is to do this within the next 24 hours while you're still remembering, coming and listening to me. Who's buying in? Who wants to do it? Okay. Thank you all for letting me share my heart. My why to share Weekly Why is that I want to help people make their lives better. I want to decrease the frustration and the negativity and help us be happier. So thank you for letting me share.
So, like I said, she's awesome. Look for what's awesome. Okay, sorry, I know it's cheesy, but that's me. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you very much. It's very neat for me to have someone like Bonnie, kind of as a mentor, always on hand. As she said, she was talking. She kind of came up with this, the vision of it and the path and the diagram and such, when she was talking to me that evening. And after she was mentoring me and helping me through a swamp that I was in, we looked at what she had done, and we said, this could be a Weekly Wise talk. I mean, this is awesome. This is great. So thank you very much. Personally, especially. We're going to transition now into the business portion of our Weekly Wise. At this point, it's my privilege to welcome up my brother-in-law. I call him THE, or TH for short, because that is our family nickname for him. His name is Ryan, and Ryan is an outstanding individual. He's a really personal, touching is the word that comes to my mind. He's a man of heart that I I believe very much in the greatness of his heart. And it's a privilege for me to know him, to be his friend, to be his brother-in-law. And I'm excited for you to get to hear from him. Ryan, come up.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, it's fun to have Matt because he's 6 inches taller than me, so there's always some part of him to rest my head on. Yeah, wasn't that a great time? Let's just clap again for fun. That was great. So this is what we're all about. And yes, we are selling something. Well, more like we're selling someone. Who we hope to sell you is yourself. Your highest, greatest, most abundant version of yourself. And that self is, like Bonnie said, is within all of us. We already have some of the traits and some of the circumstances that's ideal. So how do we use our faculties to bring about the greatest, the best, the highest? So we want to acknowledge that getting by is good, and doing okay, that's good. Doing pretty good, that's good. What if there's more? What about great? What about magnificent? What about marvelous and brilliant? So this is the invitation. All of us have this ability when we become conscious and we become clear as first to where we are in the present. We come to understand what we really want, what we want, how we want to feel, the kind of things we want to say, the habits we want to have, the people we want to interact with. Then that sets a vision, a course, charts a course for us to take. When we accept the reality as it is, then we're empowered to change it. We look for what's awesome. We train ourselves to always find the good. And you know what happens as we do that continually? We see more and more and more good. And it's exciting. And revisit what we want. So what we are selling it's called the Stromberg Mentoring Network. And what it is hundreds of mentors presenting their messages, just like Bonnie presented. Presenting their messages on how they have found to unleash their greatness, to live in purpose, to live in passion. And it's something that we've come to find is true for everybody. So the people involved in this community, the people that join in the community are dedicated to making their lives great and are dedicated to helping each other unleash their greatness, unleash magnificence. So that is what it is. So if you were to sign on under Matt or under myself, you would now there's free content. So what you'd put in a username and password, and you would pull up that website that has all of this content in it, and you would, if you want to do it for free, you have 9 courses available to you for free right now, and those will rotate out a little bit from month to month. And that is a great place to start. One of the courses that Bonnie mentioned, the Ideal Life Vision. It's helping you to become clear as to what you want in your life, and you start living that way. You start bringing about. Has anyone ever bought a new car before?
Yeah, well, not new car, but
well, a type of car that you hadn't had before. You hadn't had growing up. Okay, what was that for you?
Our Honda Odyssey.
Honda Odyssey. So now you start driving that down the road. Did you notice a lot more Honda Odysseys?
Oh yeah.
When you started driving?
When we were looking into it, actually, is when I remember.
Yeah.
When we first started looking for a car and we decided we wanted a Honda Odyssey.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I saw them everywhere.
They really are everywhere.
Yeah, especially in Utah.
Yes. Okay, that's a good example. How about learning a new language?
What about it?
You know Spanish.
Yeah.
So how quickly can you, while you're here, can you your ears pick up someone speaking Spanish? You're drawn to them.
Yeah.
Because you've trained yourself to do that way, right?
Yep.
That's how we are. if we constantly feed ourselves with the good and the wholesome, the pure, then we're training ourselves to see that more and more everywhere we go. And the better we are able to pick up on that and be in tune with that, the more we will come to, the people who are pure will come to us or be drawn to us. So that's the ideal life vision. Another powerful course is the Conscious Creator. And in that course, we discover a lot of what we want, and we learn 6 laws of conscious creation. Now, we're all creators, right? We can listen to your own language, and you'll hear what comes out of your mouth. If you pay attention, you might be shocked if you sit down and pay attention to hear what comes out of your mouth, because what you're saying is what you're bringing about, what you're creating. And so we become conscious to that. We become aware of what it is we want. We become aware of the blocks that are preventing us from getting it. We become aware of how we sabotage our own happiness. And until we're aware of it, we'll continue running those patterns over and over again, because that's what we're used to. When you become aware of it, you can start to shift it. Such amazing, incredible power. And there's another course you wanted me to mention, Bonnie?
Oh, just that Kevin's book about flipping gratitude.
Yeah, flipping the gratitude switch. So he talked about how he was in one situation of morning routine, one in which he had found gratitude and one in which he had not found gratitude. And the situation was the same externally. But internally, when he's able to flip that gratitude switch, and it's a process, it's a habit, he's able to enjoy the morning routine. He's able to see wonder in the things that otherwise were previously were mundane. So that's just a little sample of the content that you will be receiving if you join in. And again, you can join on for free. You get your username and password, and you can sample these 9 courses. And if you want unlimited access to all of it, then you join at $99 a month. And that will show you all these courses and also give you access to a lot of live events that happen. For example, there's a symposium. When's that? 22nd. And it's going to be about fitness, health and fitness. So it's all about
mindset.
And mindset. Reading about what it means to be healthy, how it feels, all of those things. And that's a free event. So if you're part of the network, those are the kind of events that you're being invited to. So we highly encourage you. So if the Strongbrook Mentoring Network resonates with you, please don't wait. Go tonight, as soon as this presentation is over, go look it up. Go to strongbrook.com. Go to win.strongbrook.com. That's Matt's site, and look up what it is, and to ask yourself, does it honor me to be a part of this? And if it does, join. If you can't look at it tonight, I plead with you, look at it, schedule a time tonight to look at it later. And if you simply is not right for you to be part of the mentoring network, we plead with you, invest in yourself somehow. Believe in yourself, love yourself enough to invest in yourself. And however that might look for you, believe in your greatness, because we all have it within us. So that's our presentation, and we encourage you to go to win.strongbrook.com and look that up. And we would love to have you join our team. And we believe that we truly can have it all. We can have health and fitness. We can have a connected marriage. We can have fulfilling work that we do. We can have a great family. And it all starts with here. This is the most important thing that we have, is our right here between our own 2 ears. That's where paradise is created. That's where forgiveness is found. That's where joy is created. Wonder, excitement, and life. So that's what we want to share with you. And we thank everyone for coming today, and I'll turn it back to Matt. Thanks.
All right, so to announce for next week, we've actually had a little bit of a change happen, so I can't tell you who's coming next week because it may have changed. We have to get some logistics worked out. We will be putting that out on Facebook to get the details straight. And with that, we would invite you to that event on the 22nd. If you're interested in attending, let us know. We'll get you the details. For those who know Kim and Kirk Duncan from 3 Key Elements, they will actually be speaking there. They are a part of this network, as are so many amazing other mentors and trainers. So with that, thank you, and let's go get some ice cream.